Coming up on Arirang News. With over 90% of South Korea's trainee doctors having left their duties, the government sends another warning before suspending their licenses. To fill up the gap, the government is deploying doctors from military and public health centers. President Yoon vows to grow Kangwon-do province into a global hub for cutting-edge industries with a focus on digital and biotechnology. While holding policy discussions with citizens there, he promises to inject some $275 million into related projects. South Korea's financial regulator reveals the guidelines for compensating investors who suffered losses from the allegedly missold equity-linked securities products tied to the Hong Kong stock market index. Good evening. It's 9 p.m. here in Seoul. Thank you for joining us on Arirang News. It's the fourth week since doctors in South Korea began their collective action, with 90% of the country's trainee doctors still not returning to work. The government sends another warning before their licenses are suspended, but it's also considering extended leniency for those who do return. To fill the gap, the government is deploying doctors from military and public health centers. Our Yoon has the latest.
Despite return-to-work orders from the government, the collective walkout by trainee doctors continued for the fourth week in a row on Monday. Nearly 12,000, over 90% of trainee doctors, have left their places of work. On Monday, the government announced that as of last Friday, it had notified around 5,000 of them of pending administrative action, such as license suspensions. The health ministry says, however, that they are considering leniency for those who return before the administrative process is finalized. On that note, starting from Tuesday, a reporting center will be established to support and protect doctors who have returned to work or wish to do so. This is a step taken to prevent harm, including bullying, that medical professionals currently working and those hoping to return may experience.
The government is committed to ensuring the safety of returning medical professionals. If needed, we will arrange alternative training opportunities in different hospitals and closely monitor for any potential negative consequences throughout the process.
For a 4-week period starting Monday, the Ministry of Health and Welfare deployed a total of 158 personnel, including 20 military doctors and 138 doctors from public health centers to 20 general hospitals. Additional deployments will be considered next week if necessary. However, the absence of doctors from public health centers raises concerns in areas outside of the capital region, where people heavily depend on public health facilities. Minister Jeon said that they will pay attention to the potential medical gaps in those areas.
In that regard, we will start by rotating existing staff and considering a two-step plan. When deploying an additional 200 public health doctors, we will prioritize areas to prevent any gaps.
On Monday, Prime Minister Han Duck-soo visited Myeongji St. Mary's Hospital in Seoul for an on-site inspection in preparation for potential collective action by doctors. Meanwhile, professors at Seoul National University College of Medicine, the country's top medical school, is holding an emergency meeting to discuss the current situation, including whether to engage in a collective action. Yoon, Arirang News.
President Yoon vows to grow Gangwon-do province into the world's center for cutting-edge industries, with a focus on data, digital, and biotechnology. While holding policy discussions with citizens there, he promised to invest millions of dollars. Our Oh Soo-young has the details.
Combining the power of nature with data and biotechnology, President Yoon has pledged to turn Gangwon-do province into a global cluster for innovation. This came as Yoon visited the northernmost province on Monday, continuing a series of policy discussions with citizens on major regional industries and issues that affect their livelihoods. First, Yoon highlighted the government's plans to foster a world-class data cluster in the region's Chuncheon city, pledging $274 million. Powering the constant flow of data will be the waters of Soyanggang River, which will cool energy-intensive data centers, then flow to nearby smart farms for reuse. At a separate groundbreaking ceremony, Yoon pledged his support for the Kangwon hydrothermal energy cluster, which will facilitate the operations.
신환경 무탄소 에너지 기술과 최첨단 데이터 기술이 시너지를 창출하는 멋진 성공 모델이 될 것입니다. 7,300여 개의 일자리를 만들어내고 춘천과 강원특별자치도 경제에 새로운 활력을 불어넣을 것입니다.
Through such efforts, Kangwon would achieve its so-called 333 project to become a data capital in line with Yoon's electoral promise, aiming for 30,000 jobs, 3,000 companies, and 300% sales growth in digital industries. Based on the data industry, Yoon said Kangwon will also foster an innovation ecosystem in the field of biohealth. Having been designated this year as a global innovation special zone for healthcare data, firms will be free to innovate without regulatory restraint on health-related data and enjoy smoother verification and certification of their technologies. To attract researchers and entrepreneurs in medical, bio and information technologies, Yoon further promised financial and regulatory support to build a corporate innovation park in Chuncheon City with over 40,000 jobs expected to be created. The president said there are also plans to build a $174 million bioindustry complex and turn the coastal Dongyan Samcheok cities into bases for hydrogen energy R&D and production. Not to neglect the sheer beauty of nature, Yoon pledged to grow Kangwon's tourism industry by adding cable cars that scales Horaksan Mountain by 2026 and ease regulations on forest areas to promote the province's iconic mountains. Lastly, addressing the region's infrastructural needs, Yoon promised to improve medical facilities in local hospitals to enable MRI and CT scans and connect cities across the province through high-speed railroads. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.
President Yoon Suk-yeol met with the U.S. Governor of Arkansas, Sarah Sanders, on Monday at the Yongsan presidential office, where they discussed ways to further strengthen bilateral ties. Yoon's office says the president first commended Ms. Sanders' leadership as the first female governor in the history of Arkansas. Ms. Sanders, meanwhile, lauded the recent developments in the ROK-U.S. alliance and hoped to further expand Seoul's cooperation with Arkansas, particularly in business, adding that her state has great potential for lithium development. The two also discussed the Korean community in Arkansas, which currently numbers around 6,500 people, highlighting their role as a bridge for stronger friendship and ties between the two countries. South Korea's financial regulator reveals the guidelines for compensating investors who've suffered from losses from the alleged missold equity-linked securities products tied to the Hong Kong stock market index. The compensation could be up to 100%, though some might receive nothing based on a case-by-case evaluation. Park Gun-woo explains more.
The Financial Supervisory Service announced compensation guidelines on Monday, based on an investigation into 11 financial institutes launched 2 months ago regarding losses incurred from derivative products of equity-linked securities tied to the Hang Seng China Enterprises Index. Investors have lost around 1.2 trillion won, or roughly $900 million so far, but is expected to possibly jump to nearly $4.6 billion from approximately 400,000 products invested in as of last year, if the Hong Kong H index remains at the 5,600 points level. The financial regulator said some investors could receive up to 100% in compensation from financial institutions, but some would possibly get nothing. This will be based on which side bears the most responsibility, the financial institute selling the ELS or the investor buying into the product. Financial institutes will be evaluated on criteria including whether they were mis-selling the product by not giving the appropriate explanation. However, this will be counterbalanced by the individual investor's knowledge and understanding of the product. The financial firm is deemed liable for 100% compensation if it deliberately misled inexperienced investors. On the other hand, those customers with the knowledge and experience of high-risk investments could be considered 100% responsible themselves, and so would receive no compensation at all. Cases in between these parameters would be evaluated on a roughly 50-50 percentage point basis. The regulator said companies can reach autonomous negotiated settlements with investors, but those unwilling to do this could submit their case to a dispute mediation committee to be set up in the future. But as the guidelines and committee procedures are not compulsory, there is the possibility of multiple lawsuits if neither the investor nor the financial firm reach an agreement. Park Gon-woo, Arirang News.
Amid the global surge in the value of Bitcoin, for the first time in South Korea, Bitcoin surpassed 100 million Korean won at one point. According to the local cryptocurrency exchange Upbit, this record was set around 4:30 p.m. on Monday, which converts to more than $76,000. This is a 75% increase in the local market in just 2 months. While the global market also hit a new all-time high, with the leading cryptocurrency surpassing $71,000, the Korean market is trading about 7% higher than the global average. Over in Hollywood, Los Angeles played host to the world's oldest entertainment awards ceremony, the Oscars, and this year, Oppenheimer dominated the stage. Our Choi Soo-hyung covers the highlights.
The biggest night of the year in Hollywood has come to a close. The 96th Academy Awards took place on Sunday night local time at the Dolby Theatre in Los Angeles, hosted by the famous American comedian Jimmy Kimmel. The first winner of the event was Da'Vine Joy Randolph for Best Supporting Actress for her role in The Holdovers. Director Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer has won Best Picture.
And fortunately, I've had a 20-year relationship with Chris and Emma. This is actually the 5th movie we've done together. And so I thought it really needed a premature director, writer-director.
The biopic has also won Oscars for Best Director, Best Original Score, Best Cinematography, Best Editing, Best Actor for Cillian Murphy, and Best Supporting Actor for Robert Downey Jr., who wins his first Oscar for the category. Oppenheimer was nominated for 13 awards, including Best Picture and Best Supporting Actress for Emily Blunt. The film has already swept other major films awards such as the BAFTAs and Golden Globes. Another noteworthy award is Best Actress. Emma Stone of Poor Things won that award, beating Lily Gladstone of Killers of the Flower Moon. Poor Things, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, is one of the most talked about movies this Oscar season, with 11 nominations, while Lily Gladstone would have become the first Native American to win Best Actress. Meanwhile, Barbie, by director Greta Gerwig, last year's biggest box office hit, has 8 nominations and has won the Oscar for Best Original Song. The Best Original Screenplay award goes to Anatomy of a Fall, directed by Justin Triet, which beat Past Lives by the Korean-Canadian director Celine Song. Past Lives was also nominated for Best Picture. The Oscars are nominated and voted on by the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences across 20 categories. Choi Soo-hyung, Arirang News.
Last month, the latest in the Roundup Korean movie series had its global premiere at the 74th Berlinale. Now the whole cast is unveiling the film in its home country today, giving a sneak peek of what to look forward to from this 4th installment. Our Kim Bo-kyung files this report.
The 1-inch barrier of subtitles no longer seemed to matter. And we can see this with the Korean action comedy film The Roundup Punishment being enjoyed at the Berlin International Film Festival. The latest in the series premiered in Berlin's Special Gala category last month. Ma Dong-seok, also known as Don Lee, was able to show global movie lovers how Korean detectives can clobber justice into lawbreakers. It was the first time a Korean action series was invited to the Berlinale. Asked about how he felt during a press briefing on Monday ahead of the domestic release, Ma Dong-seok said he was proud to see how his worries over subtitles had been shattered.
1,600 tickets were all sold out for the premiere in Berlin, and I was worried whether international viewers would be able to grasp the humor well enough. But as I saw movie watchers laughing out loud and clapping at the highlights, I could feel they were well delivered.
Already the 4th in the series, some say it cannot help but be somewhat formulaic. Hwa Myung-hae, the action choreographer for the first 3 films, was in the director's chair for the latest. And to tackle any such concerns, he added more noir-like elements to show stronger and more intense action.
When the villains come out, I wanted to create a solid, noir-like atmosphere, while for the detective scenes, I introduced a more cheerful tone. I did the same with stage design and arrangement, and music to give it a different vibe as well. I hope viewers can enjoy these two distinct tones for each team, the detective and villains.
After The Outlaw first came out, the sequels, The Roundup and The Roundup No Way Out, kept proving to be big hits, both garnering more than 10 million viewers. Can this fourth installment of the Roundup series not only quench original fans' thirst for comedy and action, but also win over a new audience? Moviegoers will be able to find out when it hits local theaters on April 24th. Kim Bo-kyung, Arirang News.
Riding high on the wave of K-content popularity, Korea is seeing a greater portion of young foreign travelers to the country attracted by sights, sound, and tastes of Korea. Lee Seung-jae has the latest numbers.
From K-pop idols BTS and Blackpink to Korea's Oscar-winning Parasite and Netflix smash hit series Squid Game, and even tteokbokki and kimbap, the growing love for Korea's music, entertainment, food, and culture have led to a huge increase in the flow of younger tourists coming into the country. According to the Korea Culture and Tourism Institute on Monday, a survey conducted on 4,000 foreign travelers who visited South Korea between October and December last year showed that over 31% became interested in traveling to the country after encountering Korean wave content. And the variety of foods appearing in Korean movies and dramas has led to more and more people from around the globe becoming interested in Korean food outside of the usual bibimbap or Korean barbecue. Data from the Korea Tourism Organization on Monday also showed that visitors to South Korea are getting younger thanks to the growing interest in the Korean wave. Among the over 11 million foreign visitors who arrived in South Korea in 2023, 35.6% of them were under the age of 30. More specifically, those aged 21 to 30 accounted for 25.3%, or 2.79 million people, while those aged 20 or younger accounted for 10.3%, or 1.14 million people. The proportion of foreign visitors under the age of 30 stood at 27.6% in 2013, an 8.1 percentage point jump from 10 years earlier. And to cater to the growing number of younger visitors to the country, the Culture Ministry, alongside the Korea Tourism Organization, are looking to bring even more foreign travelers into the country by targeting those interested in esports and K-beauty. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
To sports now. The stand-in manager for South Korea's national football team, Hwang Sun-hong, on Monday named his squad for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers with Thailand. The 23-man squad includes Kang-in, despite the so-called ping-pong gate and his reported fallout with captain Son Heung-min. There are recalls for Baek Seung-ho, Kim Moon-hwan, and Cho Yu-min. There is also a first call-up for Ju Min-gyu, who, despite having been the K-League's top scorer for the last few seasons, has never won a cap for his country. South Korea have back-to-back World Cup qualification matches against Thailand on March 21st and 26th. Local SMEs and startups need new policies that can help them adapt to the fast-changing global landscape. Our business correspondent Lee Soo-jin sat down with the Minister of SMEs and Startups to learn what some of these new policies will look like.
Globalization is no longer a choice, but a necessity for many South Korean small and mid-sized businesses and startups. Ministry of SMEs and Startups Oh Young-ju said this is what many local businesses told her during her on-site visits over the past 2 months, and is why the government is revamping existing policies. Oh gave us a preview of what these new policies will entail.
First, we have to focus on the changing landscape of trade, so the technology-related activities as well. The second one is that but this is much more important. We have to provide customized support tailored for their specific needs of each and every startups and the SMEs. The last one, how we can provide this kind of assistance in a very systematic manner.
One form of this assistance is the so-called Global Innovation Special Zones that will help businesses outside Seoul expand more easily abroad by alleviating regulatory constraints.
We will apply a negative regulation system. This is very innovative approach. So they can try everything, actually, So innovation can thrive free from all kind of regulations in that district. And also we will provide some kind of a global level demonstration and also certification process.
So what you said about the negative regulation sounds like they will help these companies, these SMEs and startups to develop new products, which, as you said, will help them more easily expand them into the global market. But also at the same time, SMEs and startups, especially those in the tech industry, for a while now, they've been struggling with labor shortages. So what are some measures that the ministry has in place this year to mitigate this issue?
So this year we launched a new policy program to bring in some talented people from India and Vietnam. Maybe around 400 people will come to the Korea. So we will select them very carefully and also provide us the training program tailored to the specific needs of the companies.
This new policy holds a special personal significance for the minister, as she previously served as South Korea's ambassador to Vietnam, during which she witnessed firsthand the demand for what local businesses have to offer.
I want to ask, during your time as an ambassador, for example, to Vietnam, did you feel like there was a real interest in Korean SMEs and startups?
Definitely, actually, around 9,000 Korean companies now working in Vietnam. Most of them, the SMEs and startups. This is the whole area now. The MSS, our ministry, is really focusing on how we can promote their capacity, global capacity, which encompasses everything, and also how we can enable them to go to the global market in a very easily manner. This is all related to our new strategy.
Minister Oh added that the new strategy for globalization to help SMEs and startups expand their customer base beyond local borders will be announced in late April or early May. Lee Soo-jin, Arirang News.
The week began with mild but cloudy weather. Spring rain started in the southern part of the country and will expand nationwide tonight. Center areas, including the Seoul metropolitan area, are expected to be affected by rain clouds from late at night. This rain will last during the day and gradually weaken from late in the afternoon tomorrow. As for the amount of rain, up to 30 millimeters is expected on Jeju Island and up to 20 in Gyeongsang-namdo province. Only around 5 millimeters is expected in the Seoul and other inland areas. In the mountainous areas of Kangwon-do province and on Jeju Island, where temperatures still low, up to 5 centimeters of snow will fall. As rain clouds act as blankets, the commute tomorrow morning will be much warmer than today. Daejeon and Gyeongju will start off at 3 degrees, Busan 6 degrees. Daytime temperatures will be topping out at 13 in Daegu and Gyeongju, Gwangju 11 degrees. Temperatures are expected to rise until late in the week, with daytime temperatures in Seoul rising to 16 degrees this coming weekend. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world. Well, that is all for this newscast. Thank you for watching. We'll be back at 10 p.m. with the AI headline news. Hope everyone has a great start of the week.